Well, I'm glad I signed up with you before your price blows up.
I mean, honestly, Ryan, that's why I signed up for this program, because I saw in you what I'm looking for.
Be real with yourself and your client.
I agree with all of that.
Congratulations.
Rocking the stage with Orion.
We've always
GHL University member. No?
Yeah. Alumni.
GHL University member.
Would you like to know how to make a good offer? And today, I'm going to be talking about the psychology behind client acquisition. Most specifically, 6 pillars that I've come up with and I've observed over the time. Over here, we have, there you go, the 6 pillars of client acquisition, turning strangers into loyal clients. Shall we get straight into it? So, client acquisition, the lifeblood of businesses, right? They are essentially, without clients, there is no business, full stop. But acquiring clients isn't just about your cold call, social media posts, or fancy ads, right? It's about understanding human behavior on a deep level and leveraging the psychology behind decision making. You need to understand how to move someone from being a stranger to becoming a loyal paying client. And that comes in 6 main steps, right? Understanding the drive, the goal, the problem, the pain, the action, and then this is a bonus one that doesn't get talked about enough, the confidence to give you effective client acquisition systems. Now, pillar 1, drive. It's the core. It's the fundamental reason behind why people do what they do, right? It's often deep, often subconscious. It's the reason why we do anything, ultimately, why people take action. If you want to convert someone into a client, you need to understand their drive, right? What are they truly after? Because, what does this desire stem from, and what drives and shapes their goals? Without understanding it, you will miss the mark. The next one is understanding their goals. So once you understand their core motivation, we then need to understand someone's drive. So once you understand someone's drive, you then need to get to their goals, their desired future state. This is what they want to achieve. So it could be a financial milestone, it could be weight loss targets, it could be as simple as freeing up more time for yourself, right? But understanding these goals help you pinpoint the desired outcome that will motivate them to take action. Achieving these goals might not be easy, depends on the goals that you set. And that's why the next problem is also fundamental, which is actually the problem, right? Does this make sense? Does this start to sort of make sense, right? We have the core beliefs, the core desires, we have the actual goal that they want to set, and then we have the problem, which is what's, the challenge itself standing between the prospect and the goal. So every prospect that you meet will encounter a problem that needs solving, right? That's universal. That problem could be anything from lack of knowledge to fear to logical issues. Without a clear understanding of what problem is, it's impossible to position yourself as the solution. And because of those problems, you create pain. They don't exist, like problems itself don't just exist in a vacuum. They cause a lot of pain. And pain is the emotional discomfort, the frustration, and the daily struggles that motivates people to take action. If the pain isn't intense enough to someone to move, there needs to be strong, intense pain. And it's about uncovering. It's not about creating pain. Pain already exists. It's about uncovering that pain, uncovering the emotional toil of their problems on their daily life. And then by having the ability to do that, you can essentially have people drive to seek change. So if you tap into this pain, you will have their true attention. Just like GoHighLevel's a bitch to play with, and imagine if there were training videos that helped you out with it. And trust me, I felt a lot of pain making those videos. And understanding GoHighLevel itself to begin with was pain in itself. And then trying to teach it was a pain in itself. And then trying to create training videos was a pain in itself. So all of that pain led to the next step, which was action, right? Who's done January diets? Who's done that? As in it's the New Year, new me. Gonna take some action. Gonna hit the gym. Yeah, Mark, you agree with that? Yeah, me too. I've done that. And action is interesting. People don't just wake up one day and take action. It's a process. To get someone to take action, you need to guide them. You need to give them the right push at the right moment. Because most people, from my experience, when they experience a little pain, when you tell them a little bit more about the pain that they experience, they begin to resist. They build up walls, right? Because when you tell them about their pain, they might have to take action, might have to do something about that pain and resolving that pain. It's like going to the dentist. You don't go to the dentist. Well, you should go to the dentist every 6 months, but you don't go until your teeth start aching. Right? It aches so much to the point in which you justify taking the action to go to the dentist. And finally, there comes confidence. Now, confidence is an excellent and probably the largest variable that in which you can swing. It's the perceived likelihood achievement of the value equation from Alex Ramosi that underpins confidence. Because confidence is the belief that the problem that they experience, so if you were the dentist, how well can you actually solve this problem? Are you able to solve this problem? It's the ability to deliver. It's the ability to be so confident in yourself that you can deliver it, that your offer instills trust and confidence in prospects, guarantees, right? Risk reversals. Like, why would people go for you? I've seen people do free trials as well on a pay on result basis. Wouldn't recommend that unless you're beginning, but there's that. There's also obviously yourself and your experience and the social proof that you've had collected over that period of time.
Basically, it was like going through working with clients and say, look, if I understand your industry, I can almost feel your pain. But as they explain to me what their issues are, knowing what you have in your medicine kit, so to speak, being able to say after listening to, like a doctor would listen to your problem. I hear you. I understand. Okay, I think I have something that might help you. And you present it to them. If those things in forms of a medicine or a type of solution to their issue, they begin to see a little bit of that pain drift away. And that helps them drift more towards you because you're showing a sign of empathy to the issues.
100%. I agree. And imagine this. Imagine if your doctor could tell you the exact type of pain and the exact type of symptoms you're experiencing. How much more would you trust that doctor? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Literally, it's like, you know exactly the type of pain I'm experiencing. Fantastic. Hopefully you have the solution. Mark, you mentioned you had pain. Tell me more about that.
No, what I meant is, pain seems to be the thing. You know, all my life, there's certain things I didn't do. Like I'm right now, I have some health challenges, and I'm making all the changes I should have made 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
it wasn't until I got sick that I had to make the changes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even then, some people will never change. But yeah, I'm just saying that you have to find your pain to get them to get over the hump or to buy. Actually,
we do. But it's a natural process, and it's the process that it takes for us to. I say to be better. You know, I wouldn't have wanted to try and go to the gym if I didn't feel too great about myself. But I'm glad I did, and I went, and I feel a lot better now than I did a couple of years ago.
So I used to teach martial arts, and I noticed the closer to black belt, there's more pain. I had to give them more pain because I needed good black belts, and in early stages, I had to baby them, but once they got close to the black belt, they would put up with any pain to get that black belt, which I guess it would be success in financial and business.
Yeah. How have you observed that? Because I've noticed I used to do martial arts. I used to do Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and I was a big power lifter. I know I don't look it, but I'm a little buff. Especially your black belts. How would you see that correlate to business and to growth and to go high level specifically, Mark?
Well, I mean, I guess I'd have to imagine to get them success early. I mean, that's kind of why I bought your program. I had no way to get them. If I sold high level, I don't know how to teach them. My son does. But this is why I joined your course, because I want to learn how to do it. Take some hours off him constantly doing everything. I mean, he's still working. I'm not. I'm here 24/7, 7 days a week. So yeah, give him success early on, before they have to start spending big money, I guess.
Yeah. You either pay with time or pay with your wallet. There is no two way about it, unfortunately. And I've learned that the hard way multiple times. So, anyone else want to mention anything?
I just want to say that I think oftentimes a common pain point, and one that I've surely experienced, is just financial. People looking for a way that's going to be beneficial to the bottom line.
Yeah.
But that and it's how they want to manifest that becomes important. Now, I've had many successes and many failures along the way, and these failures are very painful, and they lead you to learn. So I think that in a failure, perhaps that can be something that we can leverage, because we want to become authentic and help people not experience that type of pain. And we're providing tools that help facilitate that. So if you can grab that level of authenticity, and you're actually equipped to deliver the goods, You can pave the way for people to, ease their financial pain because we've got these phenomenal tools that we can, help them get out of that rut with. And that's just my perspective on it here today.
Yeah, we go back to to pain, to what Mark said, pain. Right? Your black belts will do anything to get a black belt, endure whatever pain. Why? Because of the desire of probably status. Right? They have a huge, overwhelming desire of status. I know gyms, you all stand in a line, the black belts at the front, white belts at the bottom. They must have gone through years of training to get to that point where they're, next to you, Mark, and they're smiling in the photos with their black belts. It's especially for men, it's a status symbol, right? It's competition. They're gonna pay whatever. They're gonna do whatever. They're gonna, work for 10 years straight and maybe get the black belt. There's literally only 6 core psychological tenets that you need to fundamentally understand for client acquisition. Understanding and leveraging their core values, their core drives. Why are those martial art guys still showing up to the gym 5-6 times a week at 6 a.m., 5 a.m.? Recognizing their goal, right? A desired future state where someone wants to be at. Defining and understanding the obstacles to said desired goal. That was probably Mark at some point. Creating and recognizing pain created by that problem, right? Mark, you could have, I'm sure you could have done upsells, right? Hey, if you really want to hit your black belt in 2 years instead of 5 years, you can do one-on-one personal training with me. It's going to cost you 10 grand as an example of an offer, right? Some people would pay for it. Eliciting decisions and actions that alleviate pain created by the problems. And then finally, building confidence in the person's perception of your ability to solve it. Number 6. Did I miss one? I might miss one. You get the point. Your drives create goals, your goals create problems, and your problems create pain, and the pain creates the action. Who here knows how to build confidence with their clients? How do you do that? How do you present it?
I would say the ultimate way is building confidence is just follow through on what you say you're going to do. But proactively, like on the front end, I would have to think about that.
Yeah, no, that's sweet. Your honesty, your integrity. I believe your track record as well, right? And here's a good one as well. Coming prepared ahead of time, right? I could have not come prepared to this meeting with a presentation and a script, and it would have been a very different conversation to what it is now. So coming prepared, that's a huge one. Showing up on time sometimes, most times, right? I think my family used to say, "Fail to prepare, prepare to fail." It was one of their lines. That's that. Anyone else know how to build confidence? How do you build confidence?
I would say listening. If I have a client, the first thing I'm doing, if they know what we're there for, you ask questions, but you listen more. So that way, when they see that you're listening and your responses are responsive to what they're talking about, and most times inquisitive as to, can you tell me more about that? It's about, how does that make you feel? So what did you do about that? So have you tried this? What you're doing is you're interacting with what they're talking about. You're showing an interest in not only just them, but in their pain. And when it gets to the point of being a customer, it's like, well, listen, how about we try this? And you make them comfortable to understand that, one, you've already developed the confidence from them, but at the same time, you're developing a confidence when speaking to a client, because it's a two-way street. It's just not my confidence, it's theirs too. What is their confidence in me, and what am I exhuming enough of confidence in what I'm able to do for them? Because if I'm stumbling and fumbling over what I have as a remedy, you're not going to show much confidence in what I'm trying to present to you. So at that point, it's my job to make sure that you feel comfortable with me, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to show that I have a comfort level speaking around you.
Yeah.
Because some people tend to be aggressive. Are you going to look like you're running away and being timid when they talk, or are you going to stand up, not to go back at them, but to show them that in their aggressiveness of their behavior, you're still showing a professionalism in what you do.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to match what they match, but just so long as you match a way of taming the situation.
Exactly.
But yes, I've done that in sales a lot of times. So long as you maintain your cool, and when you get them to calm down, you're more inept to get to their sense of where's the anger coming from? So the anger is just like pain. Their anger is based upon the pain that they've had. So if you can get them to calm down and show them that you're listening, then work with them to try to, remedy that situation. That's the key to that.
Beautiful. That was well put. But I wanted to bring up one point, actually. And this goes to guys who are starting out specifically. Anyone heard the phrase fake it till you make it? Yeah, in my personal experience, I would highly suggest not to do that, because nowadays there's so much fake shit out there. So much fake shit, right? So much bullshit, so much offers that tell you they can offer the world and then they under deliver. And guess what? That results in a poor reputation, which results in poor word of mouth, which results in a harder time to get new clients and more clients and better clients and so forth. What I did when I started out, right, when I was getting my first few clients, I was very honest with them. I told them I didn't have the money to even pay for Go High Level, but I had learned some skills and I would apply my time to them for free as long as they can cover the cost of High Level, which they did. And we got great results. And I still use that first testimonial that I got for the next like 50 plus clients I got. I used that same one. I was like, look at this one. It's amazing. We got amazing results. We can probably maybe do the same for you. And we did. Some were good, some were bad. That's the reality of the situation. Like, it's never going to be always perfect. Pools of pain is what I describe this. It's sort of areas, ways in which you can, how do I say it nicely? Press, someone's got shot, right? Really painful. Okay. How would you press that bullet deeper into the wound is what we're talking about here. And there are 5 main ways you can do that specifically. And of course, the conscious and unconscious triggers that underpin each point. This one specifically, problems, right, is conscious. They're aware of it. It's a problem, right? They're visible. They're like visible obstacles. They're standing wall right next to you. You can't get through it. That's a problem. They're tangible. They're known. And, they could be difficulties booking appointments, for instance, or struggling with dieting, or an inability to manage time effectively. These are issues people actively seek solutions for, right? So an example, a way in which you could ask this is to ask them, Blake, you mentioned you could potentially have trouble securing new clients. Can you tell me a little bit more about the challenges you're currently facing with? That question is a probing one. Asks you specifically about your conscious
Securing the clients.
That was an example, but
it was rhetorical. Okay.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's conscious. You could think of a list of things, of problems that are in the way that stops you from getting those clients, right? I can, for me. Next is unconscious, unmet needs. This is a little deeper, right? Often subconscious, right? So the desires or driven or drives that remain unfulfilled. There you go. These are not always obvious, but manifest as a sense of, lack of importance, such as love or status or belonging or achievement, right? A question you could ask is, what's missing in your life that you wish you could change right now? Maybe a little deep, but definitely a pool of pain that you can extract from that's more unconscious and deeper. Having what isn't wanted. This pool involves living in a current situation that is currently uncomfortable or undesirable or hard to escape, right? This is one that worked for me a couple of years ago. You were in a place of debt or poor health or loneliness or even stuck in a job that doesn't necessarily align with your personal values. This is still a little bit unconscious. And then what would it hurt perspective is essentially the desire for something that currently lacks, such as financial stress, financial success, physical transformation, or a meaningful relationship. And then lastly, consequences. This is a conscious one, right? And it's one I also really, really love because it includes the suffering caused by not addressing problems or unmet needs in the future, right? So if you don't take action now, what is the consequences of your inaction now, 6 to 12 to 24 months out in the future? Are you still going to experience the same pain that you're feeling right now, but for a longer period of time? I am. Cool. When do you want to solve this problem? Well, probably now. Okay. Here's the payment terms. Let's get started. Okay. There's a concept in biology that I want to hint upon today, and it refers to something called action potential. Does anyone know what an action potential? No? So an action potential is pretty nerdy. It's essentially the electrical potential that your cells need to send a signal to each other, right? And it's really interesting because this whole concept of action potential applies in client acquisition as well. Your cells need just enough electricity. There you go. Search it up if you guys are interested about this. They basically, you see this over here? They need just enough threshold. They need just enough voltage to make a change, right? To do something about it. And you can see there's many failed attempts, not enough, actual potential. But when enough comes in, boom, people take the action. And that is what you see in client acquisition, right? Imagine it like a plus diagram. They need confidence in your ability to solve their problem and enough pain to take action. And we call this the action threshold calculator, the pain calculator, right? So pain as a percentage plus confidence as a percentage divided by 2 is the chance of action. So mathematically, if I say, Blake, you were in a 9 out of 10 pain, you're 90% pain, you are really in pain with a certain problem, but maybe your confidence in the person to resolve the problem was a 5 out of 10, right? Your chance of action, pretty low. If your base action potential is 75% for you to take action. So does that kind of make sense based on the graph ish? Right. So as opposed to if you were in 30% pain, but you were 100% confident with the guy or the lady who could resolve the specific problem you're looking for. That might be enough for you. That might be what you need to decide to take an action of that situation. Like, oh, my toe really hurts, but this doctor's pretty good at, in this certain area with toes, I should probably just get it checked, as an example. You get my point here, guys. Like it's trying to convince people to take action by eliciting pain and improving the confidence. There is a inverse correlation between the amount of pain that you go through with the ease it has with client acquisition. The more pain you go through to making your product really, 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 really good, the easier it will be to get clients. Because just as Sunny mentioned, why a client wouldn't want to go through the pain of suffering of having to learn GoHighLevel. They wouldn't. And if they understand the value of it, right, and if they have their core beliefs and drives and pain points that they have, the sale is there for the taking. Amplify pain, boost confidence, done. Make an offer so good that it feels stupid to say no to. And this is like, please read the book, Sunny. This is such a great book. But honestly, like, creating strong offers is the fundamental wrapping, the present wrapping gift of client acquisition. Make your offer so good, a customer feels stupid saying no to. And that's the wrap of my presentation. Woo!